My name is Nathan Beard and I'm an artist based in Western Australia. My work is mainly around the interrogation of my Australian Thai identity, and I use a range of mediums including sculpture and photography to do that. In my exhibition A Puzzlement, what you'll see is a series of sculptural works which are gold 3D printed forms suspended on these sort of swirling steel vortexes. The 3D printed objects on top of them come from a range of different sources. These include the British Museum as well as my own family's archive of shrine statues and fast food toys. There's 2D works which incorporate cast members from various productions of The King and I, alongside ethnographic portraits of the Thai royal family. And these are covered in masks of Swarovski crystals, each one a different shade that has the name Siam, which is the antiquated term for Thailand, in their title as well. In order to produce the two-dimensional photographic works, there's this painstaking process of hand decoration and hand embellishment. There are 4 works combined used over 92,000 Swarovski elements. There's also a video work, which is a sonic and visual collage of different sources that interrogate this idea of Thai-ness and the way that Thailand is presented across different mediums as well. The title of the exhibition, A Puzzlement, takes its name from a song from the movie and musical The King and I. The film is a notable text for me because it was the first time that I remember as a child seeing my mum's culture being reflected back to me by media from the West. The song A Puzzlement in it specifically refers to King Mongkut, and it regards him reckoning with his role as a leader of his nation and how to forge a path for Thailand moving forward. Thailand historically was never colonised, and it was through a series of Western reform that was initiated by King Mongkut and then further refined by his son King Chulalongkorn that Thailand managed to avoid being colonised. And so the film grapples with that. And the show is a reflection of the personal association that I bring to the different nuances of what authenticity means when it comes to looking at Thai-ness and Thai culture and Thai heritage, especially from my own perspective, coming from the Thai diaspora. The theme of authenticity is interesting to me when it comes to making work about cultural experiences. In my opinion, authenticity and this metric of cultural purity is often a trap that can be inhibitive. And the way that I like to approach it is there's a range of different associations that you bring to a culture. It's not a fixed term, but identity is a permeable thing that is constantly transforming and shifting. For my work, it's looking at the fluidity of the way that we associate the essence of otherness or Thai-ness. There's a lot of potential and playfulness in being able to play with expectations. I think the role of authenticity and irony in my own work seeks to disrupt this idea of cultural stereotyping. So for myself, it's with this work, it's leaning into materials and visual textures that connote this idea of the exotic or the other, as exemplified by luxury brands like Gucci with the nail polish that I'm referencing the colourway of in these sculptures, or with Swarovski with the naming convention that they've used for a range of different colours that broadcast an idea of Thai-ness to the consumer. An archive is traditionally it's a collection of objects or documents that preserve the legacy of an institution or a collection. For me, a collection of objects that resonates with a family history or something like that constitutes an archive as well. I was thinking about what image of Thailand would you get if you were to look at the collections of an institution like the British Museum? if you looked at every single object that had its provenance in Thailand, that they had in their collection, what sort of picture and story would that paint about Thailand? And how is the collection of objects that I've sort of inherited from my mum and her family, how does that sort of complement that or butt up against it? For anybody that's looking to access institutional archives, the process is generally straightforward. There's no sort of gatekeeping at an institution like the British Museum or Kew Gardens. You just have to follow a very bureaucratic administrative process, so you just have to be prepared for it to take time to get an appointment, but generally you can secure these pretty easily. Autoethnography it's usually a method of employed by writers and researchers, which sort of centres personal experience alongside sort of broader themes and discourses. So in the context of my work as an artist, autoethnography takes place in my centering of family narratives and how I've encountered family histories alongside sort of like a broader cultural exploration of Thainess and the depiction of Thainess within the West. So in this work, autoethnography can be viewed in the video work that I've produced, where there's footage of my own family's trips in Thailand documented through Super 8 footage from the 1970s, and the way that that's inserted alongside documentary footage that was shot in Thailand by British film crews and also Hollywood productions that are sort of set in Thailand, and the way that they've created a visual record of it. I think the main takeaway that I would want audiences to have from the work is sort of a recognition of the sort of the playfulness there as a way of unlocking a much more serious-minded investigation about like cultural expectation and cultural performance.